Hello, everyone. I hope the microphone's working. If anybody's on the chat, go right ahead and let me know. Anyways, starting the introductions. Got a fur ball here today. Hope you guys. I love them to death. This is funny. All right. Hopefully, you guys are out there. Anyway, we're gonna do introductions here. My name's Orion, Kilo Echo 7, Victor Lima Charlie.
I'm Dennis Burks, KE7YLP.
And of course, you guys remember this little puppy? Oh yeah, he's grown up. I'm gonna put him back in his kennel, but I wanted to get him out and let you guys see how big he's gotten since the last time he starred on these videos. He is a rambunctious little guy today. Anyways, let me put him back and get his chew bone in. All right, there you go, bud.
I just think he's going to be dead.
Yeah. Anyways, hope everybody's doing pretty good. Got a little decent meeting tonight. Let's see here. I don't see anybody on. And let me see if I've got two people watching. In the chat, just go right ahead and let us know if the audio sounds pretty good and everything. According to the levels here, I've got pretty good audio, so I'm hoping everything looks good. I started a tad bit early just because I had Cody in my in my lap there, and I wanted to get him to settle down for a bit. Anyways, we've got a little bit of a meeting tonight. We're going to do, we've got several different little topics here. One is the Arizona QSO Party results. And then winter field day location discussion. We're going to talk about where we want to go, whether or not we want to change where we were originally at to the new site if we want to do that. And then we're going to do a little bit of club changes here. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the changes that are going to come up for our club meetings. We're going to be changing the club meetings.
Today.
Huh?
You're
Yes.
going to change today.
Yes. Yes. And the reason why we're going to be changing. We'll discuss that, and then we're going to talk about Frank and Orion's little adventure down to Maricopa. Oh my gosh! I tell you what, I haven't been to Maricopa in, I don't know, it's been a long time, and things have changed. But that wasn't the reason why we were down there. We didn't go down there to visit the great metropolis.
You didn't go to the Indian reservation?
No. We didn't go to the Indian reservation either. We actually went down there to do a little bit of sightseeing, and we'll put it that way until a little bit later. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have an open discussion. I know that there's a big topic out there about CalFire. I don't know if anybody wants to actually really discuss that or not. I've got a few thoughts on that myself. Primarily the way hams have been acting regarding that, and it's been kind of, to me, it's been kind of a little bit on the disgusting side, embarrassing side. I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about it if we want to. I know that Dennis brought something for a little bit of a show and tell, and I've got one thing for show and tell as well. And actually, I got two things. Where is my other thing? I thought I had it right here. Oh, I do have it right here, and we'll get that out in a little bit. And we'll talk about whether I liked it or not. So I hope hope audio is going. I don't see anybody in chat. I don't fully know why. Let me see if I only see one or two people actually in the video. Oh, we only have one person watching now. I don't know who the other person was that jumped on there for a bit, but we had two. So I'll go ahead and just assume that everything is going well. Okay, so I'm getting audio through my my other live stream video here. So I'm going to assume that the sound is perfect and everything. I'll put the chat up just in case anybody pops in and says hi or something like that. I know this was kind of a surprise. Dennis, you might want to slide over just a tad bit over my way. Yeah, there we go. I put ourselves on a. Okay, thank you, Vinny. I appreciate it. I put ourselves on a slightly less delay than usual, so that we have a little bit better response if anybody asks questions or anything like that. Anyways, tonight, so why don't we get started? Why don't we talk about the Arizona QSO Party results? Let me switch screens here. And okay, so Ham Camp. We actually had, I think we had a pretty good time up there camping this time around.
Yes, it was nice. Very nice.
It was perfect weather.
Yep.
I would say probably low 80s, maybe, well, I'd say 70s during the daytime.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And nighttime it got down pretty cold. The first night was not as cold as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
I was half expecting like right around about.
Well, they said it was going to be around freezing.
Yeah, it was like between 32 and 35 degrees is what I saw on the weather report, and it was not that cold. It was, I would say, probably low 40s at the most. The second night was cold.
Yeah.
Second night got cold. But, you know, it's always lovely when you wake up and you see 20 turkeys running through camp.
Do you have the picture to show?
I don't have the picture on here. Daggone it, I should have brought those pictures. Yeah, but anyways, we had turkeys coming through the camp. You know, that's how we like it. That's the type of camping we like. Cody was kind of surprised at first. He didn't know what the world they were. And I know Frank and Natasha were still in the car. Dennis was still snoring. But yeah, it was quite fun. And then when we went for a walk, we took the dogs for a walk, and we saw a deer. Well, it was a doe, but you know, female deer. Cue up the Sound of Music if you want, but
no.
Anyways, you know, that's the type of camping that we like. I wish we could have had a couple more people. I wish Chad was there. Definitely wish Vinny was there. We probably would have had a lot more radio than we did. Only because I was distracted by Cody most of the time. Cody just wanted to run and play, and there was lots of walks involved, which is good for me. I could definitely stand to get a little bit of more exercise, but I did the majority of the rate. Well, I'm not gonna say I did the majority of the radio work because Frank got out and made a lot of contacts as well. We had a lot of fun though. I'm not gonna lie. If you compare, here's the results from 2018, I believe. Oh, it's not even gonna say here. Let's go with awards. Here we go. This is gonna show. No, it's not. Where did I see that? It was it results? Or I saw it somewhere and I can't remember where I saw it on here. It actually told what we actually got. Here we go. Yeah, so our score 2018 was 88. Okay, that's the raw score. That's not how many contacts we made. That's the total score. And then if you compare that to our score for this year, 697. So we did quite a bit more. I think we did 41 contacts. We did all single sideband. And I think we got one Arizona contact down in Yuma, and then the rest were all up and down East Coast. A lot of Pennsylvania, some Washington. We did some Oregon. I mean, we were hitting basically anywhere and everywhere except for Arizona, and I think a little bit of California. I think we got a couple out of California, but that was like later on in the day, and in towards the evening and everything when the propagation changed and everything. So, um, yeah, we could have used a couple more radio operators up there with maybe at least one more rig because we only had the one rig. I brought mine up, but we just decided not to. We only decided just to put one antenna and one radio up and run it that way. Um, but we could have ran two radios easily.
Yeah.
Um,
Plenty of trees.
Plenty of trees. We really like that timber camp. We found that the trick is we're just going to reserve the group site. Um, the reason why we're going to do the group site is because we can basically lock ourselves in there and prevent other people from coming in and encroaching in on us. And then the people that we were up there that were up surrounding our original campsite. Oh, let's just say that we didn't quite trust them. We would have had to.
A little shady.
Little shady. We would have probably had to remove any and all electronic gear and put it definitely in the car and really lock it up tight and everything. Um, but that's the problem when you go to some of these camps, like Oak Flats was the same way.
Yeah.
Oak Flats was one where it's like, okay, you didn't leave your gear sitting out on the picnic table at nighttime because it would be gone in the morning time. Unless you booby trapped it with like tin cans and firecrackers and
I was going to do that.
but yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, and like Vinny said, they'll steal your water at Oak Flats. We had one family who kept coming over and asking for water every couple minutes. They were always coming over asking for water, and we actually ended up almost out of water. And it's that type of people that usually.
A homeless.
Yeah. The biggest disappointment about there is it used to cost $10 a night to stay there, and now all of a sudden they jacked the price up to $16 a night, and I was a little disappointed in that because, quite honestly, I mean, if I'm going to be paying $16 a night, there better be at least running water, so I could fill up water jugs and things of that nature, or maybe garbage pickup or something like that. So I was a little disappointed. The group site per night is I think it's like $80, and which isn't bad if you like four of us. Between the four of us, it was like $10 a night or something like that. So or $20 a night or something.
Yeah, whatever it worked out.
Yeah, I can't remember. We didn't quite do the math or anything, but we could actually easily get another 6 to 8 people in that site. Easily, and we could have easily gotten Class A motorhome in there, as well as Class C motorhomes or pop-up trailers and stuff like that. So there was plenty of space, and it wasn't like we were all like bundled on top of each other like we were at almost like we're at when we were at Moki, because we also have the Ramada, which is at one end, and then we camp at the other end, and Frank was in the middle. We could have easily put in a radio down at the Ramada, a radio back over at the sleeping areas. Cody, that's enough. I don't know what you're trying to get, bud. I don't see it. Are you trying to get the chew bone? Hold on one second, guys. What are you trying to get? Where's your chew bone? Where's your chew bone? Yeah, where is it? Did you chew it already? Or did it drop out? I don't see it, bud. All right. Sorry about that, guys.
He probably wants the next one.
Yeah, he probably wants another one, but I'm not going to give him another one tonight. They're a little rich on his stomach. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. New interns. Yeah, exactly, Vinny. Always having to constantly do a battle with the new interns over here. Anyways, we did fine. We had 41 contacts between the two of us, and quite honestly, we could have done a lot more. But like I said, hey Cody, that's enough. No. I was busy with the puppy. Again, he's always taking. I was busy, constantly busy with him. But then, he was playing with Natasha, and while I was playing radio, he just laid at my feet, which was cool. And no, you need to leave that green screen alone, bud. Leave the green screen alone, okay? I love it, man. I tell you, it's constant fun around my house now. Yeah, he's trying to get something, and I don't know what he's trying to get. Oh, I know what it is. The old cardboard tube. He sees it laying scattered all over the floor there. So, anyways, so I think we did better than last year. We obviously, we won the, Cody, it's enough. It's enough. we had a lot of fun. Let me go get another chew bone. Hold on 1 second.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, I should have brought a couple more.
Get him a big one.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't have a big one.
Oh.
But, anyways, he does like these chew bones, so they're good for him anyways. They keep his teeth going. There you go, bud. Got another one just in case. And so we could have done better, but at the same time, we had a lot of fun. And like I said, I mean, we really missed Chad as well as Vinny, because with either one of them, it just would have been, we would have had a lot more radio. So, so as to that, I'm going to migrate over to, let's talk about Winter Field Day really quick here. Frank and I, so here's where we normally are. We're over here. We like the spot. I'm not gonna say that the spot is that bad or anything. We were thinking of maybe trying to go get a little bit closer down towards the water area, and maybe go down right here like this goose loop here, and maybe go in this spot here. Not too sure exactly how the RF is going to be or anything like that, but I mean, we're looking right over the water and the the boat ramp and everything. We're closer to a trail where we can possibly go down if anybody wants to try to go down and do a little bit of fishing, they can. Oh, Vinny, yes, away from the damn cactus. I bet you there's going to be cactus up down here as well. And I'm going to leave that up to you, Vinny, to Vinny, I'm going to leave that up to you to find all the cactus for us, if you don't mind. Preferably don't do it at nighttime, all right? Try to do it during the daytime.
Put him out there blindfolded and barefoot.
Oh, there we go. Oh. Anyways, yes. Oh, Frank's joining us tonight, all right? Good. Yeah, the Ramada's in the middle, which is actually kind of nice because that way you don't have to, if you're at the back of the pack, you don't have to walk so far to get to it. So, and I like the fact that, I mean, you just look at this. We got several little other Ramadas that we can take as well. So if somebody is getting a lot of noise from one radio or something like that, we can always come down here and use this. And then if somebody's adventurous enough, I bet you we can go and put a tent down here and camp down here.
Yeah.
You're not that?
More in a rough room.
Oh, okay. All right. But the other nice thing about this place is they do have the showers. Now the shower place down here is, I believe, this area here. So you are going to have to come down here a ways to get to it, but the showers are nice up here, especially if you're going to go camping like I am, because I think I'm going to try to take Thursday, Friday, and then that Monday off.
Wow.
And yeah, Vinny, I was thinking the same thing. The high banks on each side affect the takeoff angle, except for the nice thing about this is if you flip this into a 3D model and we cruise this around, the high banks are down. This is, I mean, we're on top of a bluff here, which is going to be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get out a little bit further. Hopefully this will get us at a good, better angle to get Now I'm hoping that we don't get snow, but I hope that we do get down some good cold temperatures because I do like waking up in the morning and doing a having hot chocolate or hot coffee and good eggs and bacon and everything. So um, um, so that's one thing right there. That's one thing that I like. I don't know because every time we've been up here, there has been zero people up here, or actually anywhere in here other than us. Um, the only nice thing about going back over to here is we're close to the showers because here's the other set of showers. Um, but again, we've got our own little private gate, I believe. Let's see here, where is it? I think it's like right here. So we can come down and basically lock ourselves in again and prevent people from actually coming down if we want to. And what we'll probably do, the price. Glenn, that's a good question. Usually, what we end up doing is we just anybody anybody who has money wants to pitch in pitches in. If you don't have the money, don't worry about it. I believe for 5 days, I think it was close to about $200. I think it was like 180 or something like that. But that was for 5 days in total. I'll have to look the price back up because I haven't really quite gotten to it yet. Um, but for 5 days for $200, you kind of do the math there a little bit, and it's like like I think it's like $50 or $75 a night or something like that. But we get running water. Um, and you know what? I don't think it is affected by the price hike. I'll you know what? Hold on one second. Let's
That's part of the Arizona parks, isn't it?
Grapevine Group Campground. Let's see if they've actually. Oh, where is it? Of course, I'm using DuckDuckGoose. Let's see here. Grapevine Group Campground.
Better put Apache Lake on that Apache.
Yeah. Let's see here.
150 a night.
Yeah, but that's for. Let's see here. What was that for? So, yeah, it's $75. So, $75 a night, between 50 to 100 people, and so yeah, it is a little on the expensive side, but you know, it's actually not too bad when you divide it up amongst 5 or 6, maybe 7 people or something like that. The price comes down quite good. Um, and I don't mind paying 75. Now Moki, that price hike that they were looking at was going from $50 a night all the way up to $150 a night for that little rinky-dink little spot up in the hill, And I was just like, yeah, come on, that's ridiculous. I could see paying maybe, increases maybe to $75 a night. I could see that, but 150 was just outrageous. But yeah, $75 a night. See here, for groups of 1 to 49, or if you want a group of 50 to 100 people, it's $150 a night. So that's not too terribly bad if you stop and think about it. Let's see here. Let's see if the group. We want January and 23rd, and we're looking at the Goose spot. Yeah, see, it's available that entire time, and matter of fact, everything is available. So chances are we're going to have that whole entire campground, everything all to ourselves up there. So, which
maybe we can like cut a deal.
Well, maybe, but more importantly, we'll be able to run generators. So, yes, it is in Tonto National Forest. So, And yeah, I'll have to go through and total the whole entire thing up, but it's not too bad. Yeah, I think the price hike was just Coconino. Although I think there was a couple other places in Tonto that were kind of getting to that point too. I don't know where, because obviously the price hike for timber camp went up. I mean, it went from $10 to 16 now. Yeah, it was just that was just ridiculous. Um, and yeah, Frank says as long as we camp with the generators pointed to the lake, it shouldn't be a problem. Um, yeah, and we were up at timber camp running it, and quite honestly, we got up like 50, 60 feet away from it, and you couldn't even hear it. So that was nice. And then last year we had generators running up to I think 10 or 11. We technically we could have gotten away with it because the campground host was like, "Yeah, run your generators all night long. No big deal because there's nobody here." So, if there's nobody there, nobody's going to complain. So,
Yep.
it's pretty nice. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you guys thinking that that's a pretty nice little area to go? Should we go for it? Should we not? Um, comment on the video, or send us an email and let us know. And I don't have the money just yet. I think I'll probably have the money at the end of this month. I'll probably go right ahead and put the money down and reserve it. So, all right. So club changes. We decided to change the meeting schedule, and this is actually it's primarily because NCIS is on Tuesdays, and I didn't want to miss an episode of NCIS. No, 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 no. It has nothing to do with NCIS, although that is a benefit of moving the date. Anyways, we are switching it, and let me zoom this in a little more. We're going to start primarily because Vinny is switching his schedules. He is going to be Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for his work, and he's working 12-hour shifts over there. And, my schedule doesn't really matter. I do this because technically speaking, I should have been in bed probably about 30 minutes ago. Or in about 3 minutes, I should be falling asleep.
I'll hold you up.
Well, it's because I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So, it's one of those things. But let's see here. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch our meetings to Wednesday nights instead of Tuesday nights. Frank agrees with this change. I agree with this change. Vinny agrees with this change. What do you think, Dennis?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
I'm retired.
You're retired?
Yeah, retarded
Okay.
or retired.
Well, oh, you heard it here first, people. You heard it here first, all right? Directly from the horse's mouth. Not only is he retired, he claims to be retarded too.
My grandkids think so.
Well, they're special, so Anyways, we've had a lot of good comments about the virtual meetings. I like doing the virtual meetings. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, Vinny's talking about trying to pull breakfast out of the lake, so I think he's going to go fishing out every night.
Now that river boot will not be tasty.
Oh. Yes, so we're going to be changing to Wednesday nights. I think this might actually be a better change. I'm not too sure. Because we've had people say in the past that they've had issues with doing Thursday nights. And then they've always said, okay, well, Friday nights are usually the nights to go out and do stuff with your family and friends and stuff of that nature. Hey, Cody, that's enough. He's like, what? I'm not doing anything. You're making noise. Oh, yes. Okay, so So we're switching to Wednesdays. I'm hoping that this will be a better day for people to get out and actually come to our meetings. I think it will also reduce the confusion between our club and the other club. Um, that always ends up happening. Somebody ends up showing up to our club meeting thinking that they're at the other club, and so rather than keep that confusion going, the Wednesday nights are going to be a little bit more on the helpful side on that. And come here, Cody. What is it? Want that? Okay, there you go. Anyways, so I think that's going to help. But if you noticed, we're not going to have a physical meeting in January, primarily because, well, the following day is going to be Winter Field Day. That's going to be the day that we're all going to be packing up and heading up towards the lake. So why bother having a meeting on a Wednesday night when we're going to be up there Thursday? So the actual Winter Field Day doesn't start until Saturday, but we like to go camping. All right, we're a camping club. Anytime we can get out there and toss some logs on a fire and, kick back and, have fun and enjoy camaraderie with each other, then the more the merrier, I say. February 26th is going to be a virtual meeting. Basically a recap of Winter Field Day, talking about, how well we did and things of that nature. And then the 25th, we're going to do a physical meeting in March. And then April, we're going to do a virtual meeting. May, we're going to do a physical meeting because it's field day planning. And then, let's see here. Yes, so June is going to be a virtual meeting. July is going to be a physical meeting. August. So it pretty much goes back and forth all the way up to September 23rd. October will be a virtual meeting. November and December will be no meetings, or we might have some virtual meetings. My plan is on these campouts, we're going to try to do a lot of videos and construction. We were talking about doing the 2-meter slot antenna, and I don't know if that's going to be something feasible for us to do while we're up there.
I dug mine out.
Okay, all right. I'm going to try to get us some ham sticks, and I would like to try to do a ham stick dipole.
Okay.
At least on 20 meters. I might possibly do 40 meters. I've got one 40-meter one out in the back, or out in the garage, and I think I have one 20-meter out in the backyard. I just don't know if it's actually tuned yet, if somebody's actually snipped the wires to actually properly tune it or not, because I've never ever gotten it to actually do anything. But then again, I have it in vertical, which means I need to have a ground plane, and I don't have a ground plane. So that could be possibly part of the issue there.
I can give you some wire to fix that.
So, and then, okay, Frank, you're going to do, okay, so you're going to try to do the ham stick dipole as well. And then, let's see here. I know that there was a couple other things that we were wanting to do, and this is something that we probably need to get together and sit down and kind of hash out as to what other projects we would like to do. I know one of the fun things that we like to do is usually a dipole antenna, but we don't have trees up there for Winter Field Day, so we might have to hold off until we do a spring camp up in timber camp to do a construction of a dipole antenna, a wire dipole antenna. And then, or maybe even field day itself, because we always have to have an instructional thing for that. I myself would like to have a ham stick dipole, or maybe even a buddy pole, but I don't have the money for dipole right now, or a buddy pole right now. So,
well, some of the ham sticks are hard to get a hold of because I've been looking for some too.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Okay. So we might have to really do some digging around.
Well, the more popular things, if you want 15-meter antennas or 17, they're readily available, but 2040s are hard to come by.
Hard to come by? Okay.
Unless you go to, it may be, I use K1 RCA.
Okay.
site for. They're cheaper than going to.
HRO or
Yeah.
DX Engineering or something.
They use
Yeah.
the Workman antennas, and I think they're better built than the ones MFJ sells.
Okay. Okay. I know that MFJ sells the little 180 bracket for it.
Yeah.
But the antennas themselves don't really matter because they all have the same stud on the end of it.
Right.
Other than this stud
and
here.
some
But
of them you have to put some physical string or to hold them upright because they'll droop.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
They'll still work, but
Yeah. I might just have to think about that when we're
Yeah.
tuning it or something like that. Okay. I just would like it because Frank and I were talking about how it was fairly easy for Chad to set up at Winter Field Day.
Yeah, he had the upright.
Yeah, well, he had that buddy pole,
Yeah, I'm the buddy.
and
too.
it took him probably about less than an hour to set up the buddy pole. And actually, I think it took him a little bit longer, but it was his first time setting it up, so we were fine tuning it and playing around with it and seeing what worked and what didn't. But honestly, what I would like to do is basically I don't like putting up huge masts all the time because that is just it takes like four people, to get set up and and then you have to wrap the wires and all this other stuff. It just kind of gets all tangled up and it becomes more of a hassle than it really solves. So we're going to try to do the hamstick dipole, and quite honestly, it'd be really nice because then we could each do it in our own little camping spot and not have to really do too much. The big masts are nice; they're fun to put up and everything, but it takes a crew to do it, and it takes a long time. It takes a couple hours, which is the reason why we typically go up on a Thursday is set up the mast before Saturday,
Right.
and get everything all up in the air, and then that way it's ready to go for Saturday. So, but we also were discussing possibly doing a lot more camping in places like Glenn, the attendance at physical meetings have been right around about maybe 6 people at the most. Yeah, 3 to 8 people. The nice thing about the virtual meetings are, like tonight, Joanne's working tonight, so she's not going to be able to see this, and I think Chad's working tonight as well. We
Yeah,
record
they can
this,
watch 'em
and
later.
now they can watch them later. Now, obviously, we could do that the same way with our physical meetings. It just involves a little bit more setup. I've already got all the camera equipment, the microphones, and everything all set up here. It takes me, roughly about, I'm going to say probably about 30 minutes. If I leave everything the way it is, and I just shut down my OBS software and my mixer, I can have this thing up and running in about like 10 minutes.
We could launch a few satellites from here too.
Oh yeah, easily. I've got
Gotta
control.
log into the right place.
Well, NASA apparently has been, very
Yeah,
very
they've
easy to
been
get.
hacked.
Oh yeah, they've been hacked. Well, and speaking of hacking, okay, I don't know if anybody read, and I'm sorry about going off tangents, but I think everybody is kind of familiar with me going off tangents, off on wild goose chases as it is. Experian, the credit site that keeps track of your credit score and everything. It was found out that they had a very important app that was basically one of the passwords on there was admin. The username was admin and the password was admin.
Oh dear.
Okay, they never ever turned that function off, and so there you go. Anyways, so back. Oh yeah, we are definitely wanting to get back into satellite, and quite honestly, Winter Field Day is going to be perfect for that. For
Yes,
satellite,
yes.
Frank. So you better bring your satellite gear up with you. All right. And the
No
reason why I'm saying that is there's no obstructions.
Right.
Zero. You might have a creosote bush or cactus which obviously Vinny's pretty good at finding the cactus, so we'll be able to find those
Yeah,
pretty
we
easily.
Send him out.
And we'll be able to avoid those. Hey, Cody, knock it off. Settle down. Anyways, yeah, so we should be able to get that up and running. I thought that was that's something that we've been trying to do. I mean, we were close at field day for the past 2 years. The first year we did it 2 years ago, we were close, and that was using a handheld antenna.
Yeah.
And last year, the only thing that really prevented us from doing anything with it was Frank's electronics going wonky on us, and other than that, his proof of concept is actually working. It's there. It's just we just need to fine tune it, and we'll see what happens. I think Winter Field Day, if Frank can bring that out, I think we can probably get it up and operational. So, which will be fun to do. I don't know about you, but I definitely would love to do some satellite work.
Yeah.
But the physical meetings, we actually meet up face to face, talk with each other, sit down, draw things up on the board. I got to try to find a good whiteboard application to do over the virtual meetings, but I'm horrible drawing with mice. So I need to get a little writing board so I can do the free drawing and stuff of that nature. Now, I'm no Picasso, so I'm not going to say that I'm going to be drawing some masterpieces with it, but it's up there.
I got one of my grandkids. She can do that with a mouse.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wish I could. I know I can't.
She draws all kinds of pictures.
Anyways, but the physical meetings, I think, are an integral part of ham radio clubs. And the primary reason I say that is because you need that face-to-face contact with everybody. The virtual meetings are nice. I like it because, well, I mean, obviously I'm sitting in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go anywhere. And Dennis is not too far away from here.
3 miles.
Yeah, so there you go. I would like to get Frank and Vinny in on at least audio. So we're going to have to try some audio one time, either through Discord or Mumble or something of that nature, or something. We'll have to play around with a couple things, especially once Vinny starts getting his routine back down. I think we'll go right ahead and try some of that stuff. All right, so we've talked about Winter Field Day. We've talked about the club changes. We're going to try to do 4 campouts a year, if not more. If we get the hamstick antennas up, we can do a lot more, especially in the wintertime, because we can go down like Picacho Peak. We've got white tanks that we can go over. White tanks, oh man, I tell you what, I like white tanks. It's way over on the other side, and they lock the main gate, so at nighttime you don't get any of the idiot drunks driving through or anything like that. And then you got the McDowell Mountain Park up there. They've got really nice campgrounds, and it is super quiet up there. Quiet, you're okay. And so, we've got a lot of good opportunities. I mean, we can even go all the way down to Tombstone, at that point in time.
Oh, yeah.
If we really wanted to, I mean, wouldn't that be a nice club outing to do? Go all the way down to Tombstone and, find a group campground down there, and then spend a little bit of time wandering around and possibly getting shot by the, by the OK Corral, and,
Well, if I was gonna go that far, I'd go up the top of Mount Graham.
Oh, okay. Well, Mount Graham wouldn't be bad either. It's a little bit of a hike, but yeah, we could do that.
It's beautiful up there.
So
also 8,000 feet.
8,000 feet. Yeah. So the next thing that I would like to talk about is Frank and I had a little rail fanning down in Maricopa. This was oh man, I tell you what, I had so much fun doing this. At first it didn't look like I was going to get to do it because they originally the schedule was that they were going to be coming through probably about like 12:30, maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I get off work at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so there's no way I would be able to make it
No,
unless I
that's
took some time off from work.
45-minute drive over there.
Oh, yeah, it was almost an hour drive from my work. So, um, but it got behind schedule, and so Frank was like sitting there going, "Hey, listen, it's behind schedule." And at first, it was only behind schedule by like 15 minutes or something like that, and then it was like 30 minutes. And I was thinking, well, okay, if I push it, I can probably get down to Maricopa, get there in time just to watch it roll past, and then go home. Hey, Cody, that's enough. Just lay down, bud. And that's what I was thinking. And then it got pushed behind even further, and it was like almost like 2 o'clock. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got plenty of time. I've got plenty of time to make it down there. And we were expecting to pull into the parking lot and get out and basically sit around for maybe 10, 15 minutes and then it rumbled past. Well, typical railroads. It got way behind its schedule.
So you were going to look at a train.
Oh yeah, we went down there to look at a train, and a very big special train. Let me find it here. Let me see here if I can find it. The big boy. Oh my gosh, this was such of a fun train to go see. I tell you what, man, this was the highlight of this month. I'm just gonna say this right now. I have fun seeing this thing. This was awesome. It is a huge train. It is huge. Just take a look at the picture right there.
Yeah, I've read some stuff about it on Popular Mechanics.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna see if this will work.
Somebody on a motorcycle went by.
Yeah. I'm hoping that sound is coming through. That doesn't work.
Wow.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I had a blast doing it. We spent I'll tell you, I think it was probably like I think we sat down there for like 3 hours. We were down there 3 hours waiting for 1 minute
I
worth
didn't know
of
they were
fun.
going to run it down this way.
Yeah, we didn't either. Frank heard it through a friend who heard it through a friend. And we did see one article posted a long time ago from in one of the local newspapers about it. And apparently people in Maricopa knew about it because there was a lot of people. I mean, you can see all the cars right there. And we weren't even at a major stop like Gila Bend. They actually stopped in Gila Bend for 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was spectacular. Just having that thing rumble past
huge.
you. It's a big train.
Go like 100 and some odd miles an hour.
It could if it
Where you'd open it up for that long, I don't know.
But they were a lot of engineers across the country and across the globe are sitting there saying that they would never ever be able to get one of those things to rumble on the rails today. Just because in some areas you might have to back it up and turn it around and everything, and they were thinking that, oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to. Well, I mean, if you look at the picture of a regular diesel locomotive, I mean, it's almost the size of its, technically this is a coal car, but
yeah. Take the car into account.
Yeah. So it's like half the size, and so they designed the tracks today for those regular diesel locomotives. Oh man, I tell you, that was just it was fun.
Did the ground shake?
Oh yeah, ground was shaking like you would. Oh man, I don't know if it was me shaking just from the excitement. Well, I was holding the camera, so I wasn't shaking too bad. But oh, that was a lot of fun. And I have to say thanks, Frank, for convincing me to come down and go enjoy it because that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a lot of sitting around, twiddling thumbs, looking at our cell phones, going, "Okay, where is it? Where is it?" Um,
Well, it's hard for them to schedule that, I'm sure,
oh
because
yeah,
people don't want them, when they come to a
well,
stop, they want to keep them there.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. People want to keep them there, but then at the same time, you have to understand that the whole entire purpose behind a railroad is to make money.
Yeah.
And so if they're not pushing, cargo containers across the tracks, they're not making money. And this isn't really bringing in any money. It's not like people were sitting there tossing out $20 bills at the train as it passes by.
It did have a lot of passenger cars on it.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they were actually carrying anything, but yeah, it was. Man, I tell you what, I had a lot of fun doing that. So, um, I kind of wish they had a lot more specialty trains that would run, but I get it. This cost a couple $1 million, if not, I think $1 billion or something like that, just to get it up and running. I mean,
They have three of them that they can use to make one.
yeah, well, yeah. There's only 7 remaining now. But what they ended up doing was they tore that whole entire thing totally apart,
Yeah,
everything,
I read about it.
and then rebuilt it. And anything that was broken or damaged or just basically um, let's see here, detrimental, rusted through or something like that, they basically remanufactured it.
Mhm.
So now the one thing is the engine itself is no longer coal fired. They no longer coal fire it.
Yeah.
It's all oil fired now. But I bet you anything that makes it just even more fuel efficient, anyways. Um, there are, if you go out onto YouTube and look up UP 4014 videos, there are quite a few videos of the actual engineer. And when we talk about an engineer, hey Cody, leave that green screen alone. Leave it alone. Don't be playing with it. No. Anyways, they have engineers, the basically the driver of the train. I mean, they don't use a steering wheel, obviously, but he's the guy that controls the brakes, the speed, and all that other stuff. And then you have the conductor who does all the other aspects as well as the safety. And then they have the firemen on board, as well as I think they have a backup fireman on board as well. So they have 4 people in the cockpit at all times. And it used to be basically one person would be shoveling the coal, the fireman would be controlling all the pressure valves and all that other stuff. The conductor would be taking tickets in the back and all that other stuff, making sure that the train was on schedule. And then the engineer was basically the guy who made sure that the locomotive went.
I'm sure they had spares of those too.
Oh yeah, yeah. So other than the safety equipment on it, the bell, the lights, the whistle. Obviously, the whistle is somewhat original because it's using the same whistle, but the bell was. They do have instead of the swinging bell, they actually have a pull. I don't know what you call the little clacker. Yeah, inside there. I just thought it was fun to see. I'm quite proud that the Union Pacific did this. That they decided to go right ahead and do this. I think it was a great idea, and I'm yeah, Glenn. 48884. That's basically the 4 truck wheels on the front and the back, and then you have the 2 sets of 8 wheels. So, Glenn, are you a rail fan too? Just kind of curious because obviously Frank and I are. I'm giddy about this whole thing, man. I love that. That was so much fun. Um, I, there's just something about steam locomotives.
Yeah. Well, I've ridden on all the scenic trains and I guess all 3 or 4 of them in the adjoining states.
Okay. Yeah, probably what, the Durango Silverton?
Yeah.
And, then there's one in New Mexico,
Right,
and then one in
on that one, the Members.
Is there one in Texas? I think.
Now there's one up in
or is it
Cottonwood?
Okay. Okay. So I am a rail fan. I will freely admit that when I was working. You currently do in? Oh man. There's a guy right there, model railroader. Oh yeah, see right there. If I had the space, Glenn, I think I would probably I'd probably be spending more money on model railroading than anything. But I tell you, there's something about it. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the freedom and the the engineering aspect of it. Because quite honestly, I mean, you look at this thing, that's an engineering feat right there. So, um,
Just shows you what a little hot water will do.
yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Exactly. So I don't want to take up too much time on this, but I thought this was a blast. Um, Frank and I did actually have our ham radios on while we were down there. We were listening to the railroad frequencies. Um, Not a lot of chatter on railroad.
Yeah.
Typically it's kept really short, sweet, simple, to the point, and it's usually in their railroad lingo. You're going to have to understand exactly what they're talking about when they get on the radio. But um, so I'm pretty impressed with that. I think they did a really good job of this. I wish it was advertised a little bit more, but as
Oh
you saw
yeah.
in the video there, and I kind of wish I could bring up Frank's video, but Frank's got a video of with his drone. It doesn't have the sound, but just watching it from overhead is awesome. Um,
Yeah, it is.
he had his drone down there.
Oh, did he have
Yep.
that above it?
Yep, he flew the
Oh,
drone
that's
while I
cool.
got
That's
the
cool.
video on the cell phone, so we were tag teaming it there. Um, but yeah, it was just it was a lot of fun. So I will have to say that was probably I think that was probably the highlight of the last couple. I mean, not to say that the Arizona QSO party wasn't fun, but this was a special
Yeah.
moment. It's a once in a lifetime because quite honestly, I don't know if they're going to be running it even more later on in my lifetime. Um, they might end up getting it back up to Casper and then just setting it out or something, or might take short trips with it, but that's about it. This has gone from Casper all the way down into um, I think Los Angeles, and then all the way out through here to Tucson, all the way out into Dallas, and then all the way back up to Casper. So it's making a huge trip, and hats off to the guys that restored it. Hats off to Union Pacific for doing it. They did a really good job. So, you know, quite proud of them for doing that. Now, like Vinny said, it's too bad that they've stopped doing passenger trains. I really wish Union Pacific would do more passenger trains, but um, one of these days I would really like to go on take a you know Amtrak train.
Mm.
Um, but I would probably either want to do one of the northern routes or maybe one of the coastal routes, just to experience it. Sleep in a sleeper car and you know hang out with hobos. I mean, other people on the train. So, um, anyways, so that was pretty much it. Do we want to do? Why don't we do show and tell really quick? You want to start with mine, or do you want to do yours?
You can do yours first.
Okay. The first one, everybody knows that I've been looking at ARRL books, and the first one I got, the first one for tonight, is this "Get on the Air" with HF Digital, and I'm sorry about the coloration, the green screen's starting to come through on that one just because of the angle. But "Get on the Air" with HF Digital. I've gone through this. Quite honestly, this is the second edition. It doesn't. When was this? Um, Copyright 2011 2018.
Definitely out of date.
So it's 2019. It's out of date now. Honestly, this was a free book, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
It was a free book because I re-upped my ARRL subscription. So, But there's actually really good information in here, especially about PSK31, RTTY, um, as well as SSTV. Where the heck did it go? I just saw it. Um, anyways, they walk you through on how to adjust your sound settings. You go through your sound card settings. Um, see here, yeah. Here's the PSK 31. Oh, you know what? I got the wrong camera here. Let's pull up the full camera here. So get on the air with HF Digital. Steve Ford does the Doctor Is In podcast. If you go out there and you look for podcasts, unfortunately, I really don't like the length of the Doctor Is In podcast. It's only like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes at the most. I think it's a little too short. I wish they would lengthen it to maybe a half an hour. Yeah. But, I don't run the ARRL.
Company supports it, so that's probably their decision.
Yeah, it's probably their decision. Anyway, they've got chapter 2 is on PSK 31. They talk about RTTY in here and all the different little settings. They even talk about FT8 in here, which is a popular, and then the JT65 as well. Both are popular items on the air lately. We haven't really done too much on the FT8. I know Frank does FT8. See here. I don't think I know we've done PSK 31 on our trips. We've tried to do. I can't remember if we've ever tried to do anything else. I know we haven't done slow scan. I would really like if Chad would develop a QSO card, and then we go out and we do, slow scan TV, SSTV.
I think you're going to have some fancy aerials for that.
Think so? I don't know, because I think you could do it with a wire. I don't know. But they also, Olivia has been kind of coming back, making a comeback lately.
Well, most of that's on 440.
Oh yeah, especially the faster ones like Olivia. Even slow scan TV you could do via 2 meter and 440.
Yeah.
So, I know when the ISS flies overhead and they do their little slow scan TV thing, Frank and I used to go out and capture that all the time, and put it up on. We did live videos for that, as well as a demonstration on how to do it. I'll probably dig out that video again and repost it to our website as well as our Facebook page. Slow scan TV is fun to capture, especially off the ISS. But they do a lot of different little things. And quite honestly, I mean, I don't know if I would pay the price that they want. The price is $22.99, but
it's been on sale for something like $14.95.
Yeah,
occasionally.
Occasionally. So I would keep an eye out for any specials. I know in December, I think that they usually put out like a little 10% off or 20% off coupons or something like that. So I would definitely grab a hold of one of those coupons and run with it. If you're definitely interested in digital, this is definitely going on my bookshelf anyways, but the other one, I don't know if any of you remember me saying that I was going to try to, I was kind of interested in what the QEX magazine is, the Quebec Echo X-ray book or magazine was. And I thought, this would be great. It's going to have things for us to do as a club. And quite honestly, I was very disappointed in it. Okay, this is the magazine for $7. You compare that to, I got a QST magazine. Of course, you pay $50 for the QST magazine. Well,
a year.
But you look at the size difference, and it's this is more like a pamphlet. I think DX Engineering has a bigger, Christmas wish list book that they publish than the QEX magazine does.
Yeah, they do some pretty exotic stuff in there.
Yeah, they
that's
do.
what I thought.
Like in this one here, they were talking about pi networks with or without inductor loss, and they just go into a lot of the mathematics. The matrix formula for transfer functions, and it goes in and talks about how to solve all these, the matrix equations for it. If you were a super engineer, this would probably be pretty fun. For a new ham or just basically the general ham, I say don't subscribe for it. Not even worth it. They do talk about patterns and polarizations of modestly sized loop antennas. Um, yeah, pretty interesting. It was talking about some of the designs and everything. You're talking about some of these. You're going through a lot of these equations and everything, and I, some of it piqued a little bit of interest, and then it just kind of died off. So I wasn't intrigued by it. My recommendation for the bang of the buck, I'll show the back of the book. This one right here. And then obviously this is the front of the book. Get on the air with HF Digital. Steve Ford, WBA IMY. The back of the book. Well, yeah, it's the way the light hits it. If the because I've got green screen, so anything green is going to make it blend in with the background. So if I took something, and I'm trying to find if I have anything green in here. I do have something green in here. This is gonna be fun. This is a little silicone. This is a little silicone. It disappears. But if you look at this, this is what this is. Okay, it's just this one's green, so it blends in. Okay. Oh no, Dennis disappeared. So that's behind the camera magic. I did it because I wanted to have different backgrounds in, and I can actually even turn them on and off all night long if I wanted to. There we go. I just now switched it, and I'll just transition over to it again. So there we go. So background's changed. You notice I'm not sitting in Arizona forest anymore. I'm sitting up by a mountain lake. I think after this, I think we're going to go fishing. So, Vinny, overall, quite honestly, the best value for your buck, especially for new hams, is to stick with the ARRL QST magazine.
Yeah.
Get the subscription.
Well, CQ has some good stuff too.
Yeah, CQ does. Well. The way I put it is, CQ has meat and potatoes in large portions. All right, their articles are long. They're like 4, 5, 6 pages long. QST has a little bit of meat, a little bit of potatoes, maybe some carrots, some peas.
Well, they have a lot of advertising.
And then they have a ton of advertising. All right, so but they that's probably how they make their money for the majority of the magazines. So I imagine that publishing this one magazine probably costs way more than $50.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, this is $50 over a full year. You're getting 12 subscriptions for it. So you do the math. It's like almost $4 or something like that per magazine. So then compared to this thing right here, which is $7 a magazine, it says right up here, right in the corner, $7, and it's like 28 pages, 29 pages, 30 pages. It's like
yeah. Well, I used to have a subscription to it, and I didn't find it of much use for me.
Yeah. Now Vinny might be intrigued by some of the articles in here. He probably drool over the equations and stuff of that nature, but. And the amateur radio handbook, Oh, that one right there, I say that every single ham should have one on their bookshelf. Hands down. It doesn't even have to be the latest and greatest. Okay, you don't need the 2020 version that's coming out. Go to a ham fest. Um, Hands down, go to a ham fest. There's this super fest that's coming up in December. It's like the first weekend of December. Um, and there's bound to be somebody selling some of the
Yeah.
older versions. Um, Honestly, the difference between the 2020 version and the 2015 version that I have, they probably added a few extra, maybe 4 or 5 extra things. Maybe something on, this FT8 or FT64 or whatever
Digital
it is.
modes.
Some of the digital modes. But other than that, the antennas are probably the same. The information in there is going to be the same. So, you might be able to pick, yeah, and see, okay, like Vinny just brought it up here. Um, the ARRL handbook right now for the 2020, yeah, it comes in 5 volumes and it's for $50.
I think that's
But
not the 5 volume set. I think that's 65.
is okay? The 5 volume is
That's
probably the
just
65. That's
the
just
single
the
hand.
single book. I've got one sitting around here somewhere. I can't remember where I put it now. No, where is it? Did I put it away or did I put it somewhere? I can't remember where it's at. It's somewhere around in here. It might actually be behind Cody over there. Anyways, if you go down to Hamfest, you might be able to pick them up for like $10 or $5.
I have some down to the 1960s.
Yeah, so and the information in it doesn't change all that much. So I highly recommend you know picking up one.
Yeah.
Um, you know, oh yeah, see, okay, so yeah, Glenn bought 2 of the 2017 handbooks just last year on Amazon, and I bet you he paid a lot less than $50 for it.
Oh, sure.
you know, um, so there's a whole bunch of different things that I highly recommend. I've got a few books, um, and I'll go right ahead. What I'll do is I'll post a article or a thing up on our club website with all the different books that I have. And if somebody really wants to borrow one or something like that, I mean, reach out and let me know, and I'll bring it over or something like that, or we'll make up we'll get a connection or something like that, and I'll let you borrow the book or something like that, or like a couple of these, if there's something that if you look through my list and you say, oh, I would like to take a look at that book, and you're going to be up there, say at Winter Field Day, I'll bring it up. You let me know ahead of time, and I'll bring it up with me, and I'll let you look at it, read through it, whatever. Because quite honestly, I would love to start a library for our club. Obviously, we just don't have the money for it. Um, so it's something that it'd be nice to have a library where somebody could just check out a book and look at it. But so okay, yeah. So $10 each, one soft cover and one hardback for a 2017 handbook on Amazon. You could probably even go to eBay and find them too. So that's not bad. Um, yeah, virtual library would be nice too. I'd have to find an actual virtual library software that would allow us to check them in and out and everything. But
well, if you want to pay $10 a month, you can read a whole bunch of them
on ARRL or something like that, or
yeah, they're all their books.
Yeah,
or most of their books.
So that wouldn't be too bad,
It's on Amazon.
I just, quite honestly though, for the general ham, I say stick with the QST or the CQ magazines.
Right.
Okay, now supposedly the ARRL is coming out with another magazine for new hams. I don't know how much traction it's going to get. Quite honestly, I kind of wish what they would do is they would combine that with the QST magazine, and I think new hams would get a lot more out of it.
Probably.
That's just my opinion on it. Obviously, I got a lot of opinions.
Well, ARRL could just make videos for training for new hams and then put them on the on YouTube.
No. Yeah, I asked that question, kind of pondered why they didn't do that. But
it's not like it's expensive.
No. It's actually quite easy, and they could probably even monetize it if they did it right.
Yeah.
Make a little extra money too from it. But they do have the new podcast that's out there for new hams. It's called What Next or something like that. I started listening to it, and again, it's another one of those podcasts that, for some strange reason, the ARRL thinks that a 10-minute podcast is going to solve everything.
Yeah.
And I was a little disappointed. I wish they need to go at least a half an hour for these instructional podcasts. If or between 30 to an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. After that, people kind of get a little tired of hearing it. I know there's one ham radio workbench podcast that I subscribe to, and their podcasts are upwards of two plus hours, and I listen to them on the way to work.
Mm-hmm.
So basically one episode of their podcast covers me Monday through Friday on my way to and from work, or a couple days at least, and it keeps me entertained, and while I'm driving down the road. And they've got a wealth of information. So if you're looking for a good podcast, look up Ham Radio Workbench. All right, the guys do a very good job of doing it. And they are long podcasts. They're not little 10-minute little podcasts. So did you so you want to talk about Yagi antennas?
Yes, radio telescopes.
Radio telescopes, another ham radio adventure into something else other than...
Well, as everybody knows, we don't have any sunspots, and therefore we don't have any electronic stimulation of the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's correct.
The very fact that that's not happening is bad for hams, but it's very good for radio telescopes.
Okay.
Because you have a nice clear atmosphere that the signals can come through. If the ionosphere is stirred up with sunspots, it blocks that information.
Okay.
So if you've ever wanted to be or do radio telescope work, this is the time to do it.
Okay.
And about 20 years ago, I got pretty involved in it. I had an 8-foot dish, and I was scanning everything I could point it at, which in some cases was not very good, especially if the wind was high. Spin that thing around.
Oh.
So anyway, I'm going with Yagi antennas this time around.
Okay.
And I brought one. It's close. And this is
Wow.
a Yagi.
Are you sure that's not a ray gun?
Well, whatever you want. Anyway, this is a Yagi for 1.9 gigahertz frequency.
Okay. All right.
Which is real close to the hydrogen line frequency of 1.421.
Okay.
In fact, I dug this out because I found a site how to calculate to make any kind of Yagi you want.
Okay.
So I took the calculations from that site and compared them to this because I knew what this was cut for.
Okay.
And it came out pretty darn close.
Ah.
And this has got a gain of about 33.
Ooh,
It actually has 32 elements, and then on the inside you put a resonant cavity in it, which is essentially a coffee can.
Huh. Okay.
And then you put your antenna into the coffee can with a little stub in it.
Yeah.
And then you can monitor the hydrogen line, which is what they use to measure the hydrogen in space. You can scan it across the Milky Way, and you can see the increases of hydrogen by the peaks of the radio waves.
Okay.
And it's one of the primary things they do. I had the same, not this, but the coffee can on my big dish, and I did the same thing.
Okay.
So, since I can't make that portable, I'm going to go with Yagi's They don't have the same gain as the disc, but in order to hear this stuff, you need to get way away from all planetary generated noise. You won't hear anything around in a city environment.
Oh, yeah.
There's just too much noise, background noise.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start this up, and I think I gave you the. You
Yeah,
can bring that up.
I did put it in the show notes.
Okay.
It is the radio.meteor, METEOR .free.
That's for
.fr.
This they set this up to cut antennas for meteor scatter.
Okay.
But it goes all the way up to the gigahertz. That's how I figured out how I knew, because I put all those calculations into this one, which I did know, and it came out really accurate.
Okay.
And if it'll go that high, it'll be really accurate down low.
Okay. All right.
So somebody wants to get it. This is the time to get involved if you want to do radio.
Excellent. Now I know you and I were talking about that you can hear Jupiter. Jupiter puts out a lot of
yes,
RF.
And that's on 15 meters.
Okay.
And I've got one. I have a modified unit now to do that with, but where I live, I cannot get low enough down to pick up the Jupiter when it goes across the sky, because I have a stupid waterworks next to my house, and they got giant tanks.
Tanks, okay.
And I can't do it, so I'll have to find a place.
All right.
Once I get it constructed, it's 10 feet long, and you have to have a separation for a Yagi for that frequency.
Okay.
8 to 10 feet from the pickup to the reflector.
Okay.
So
pretty
it's
impressive.
Pretty cumbersome, even.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that's pretty impressive, but yeah,
I've got it on a mount that pivots, and I can change the elevation.
Okay.
And I'll bring it up when we go up more in Fieldia, because that is a place I can really put it to use.
Yeah, it's wide open, and
in my backyard, it can't do much.
Very, very little noise up there, because we're not going to have too much.
And really, you really have to get away from all that stuff to hear anything.
Okay.
So
well, that'll be pretty fun.
I also got one of those dish antenna things, and we can play with that too.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we've got a couple that we'll have to try to see if we can modify and get them.
Yeah, they can also cut a slot out and make a 2-meter thing.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to do that to mine, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Was there anything else that we would like to discuss?
Well, that's my say on that thing.
Okay. Anybody in the comment field, in the guys have anything that you guys would like to talk about? Let's see here. Okay, well, we've got 6 people watching right now. That's pretty impressive. The only other thing that I kind of wanted to discuss, and I don't really want to make this into a bashing of California or anything of that nature.
You mean the tempest in a teapot?
Oh man, I tell you what. I quite honestly, so the history of this, I don't know if any of you are up to speed, or have seen some of the articles out there or seen some of the videos. Some guy got a hold of some letter from the Shasta County or something of that nature in California, and it was basically CalFire, which is the California Fire Department, basically asking somebody to remove their repeater out of their vault. Okay, and it's really kind of blown up. It's just, quite honestly, it's kind of gotten irritating, because I see all these videos out there on YouTube, and every single one of them is just, they're taking one side of it and they're blowing it way out of proportion, and they're making a big deal out of something that in reality doesn't need to. So what happened is I guess there's one group out there that there used to be something called SCARS. It was like Santa Clara or Santa Clemente or what, I don't know. Anyways, it was called Scars, and that was the original club who had the original repeater up there. They had agreements for it, but it was just basically just a letter. That was all it was. It was just a letter. It was no formal documentation or anything of that nature. And this was like back in the 80s. Okay? Um, and so they had permission to put it up back in the 80s. And well, today's not the 80s. This is 2019 going on 2020. Things change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so what happened was, I guess Scars folded, and then they basically gave the repeater and all the equipment over to another group called Stars, or Stairs, Stares or something like that. Anyway, but I don't think that the paperwork actually really transferred. I don't think the agreement transferred or anything of that nature. They just automatically assumed, well, if the repeater's already up there, we've got permission and all this other stuff. And now all of a sudden CalFire's going, hey, listen, you guys aren't really providing us with any benefit here. We're not, I mean, we're paying for your electricity, we're paying for your vault access, we're paying for this, and we don't even actually know exactly who in the world the repeater actually belongs to because we don't have any updated paperwork. And so there's so many different little issues with this, and the problem is a lot of hams are making quite a big fool of themselves, as well as our hobby and us as a whole, because they're blowing this thing way out of proportion. This is one amateur radio group that has one repeater up on one hill, and everybody's trying to make it out to be like the entire state of California is saying no more ham radio.
Yeah.
And it's making it a big joke. Quite honestly, after everybody blows up like this and everything, and I mean, we're talking about, there was one guy made a comment on one of the videos. Well, the state of California is using equipment that dates back to the 50s anyways. And I'm like sitting there going, you're not making your case, because we're using equipment that dates back to well beyond the 50s. We're using antiquated equipment. So it's like, the state of California never said no to ham radio. All it is one CalFire repeater site is saying, hey, listen, we don't even know who in the world this equipment is. We don't see any benefit to us, and we're allowing you to be there for rent free. And they're actually saying, hey, listen, if you would like to keep your repeater there, here's how much it's going to cost you to do it. Okay? That's the problem that I have, is people are blowing this way out of proportion and going, well, wait a second, why should we have to pay? We're providing them with a service. Well, obviously, we're not. That group is not providing CalFire any service, because if they were, CalFire would already know who the repeater owner was, and this would never be an issue.
Yeah. Well, it's probably been there for years and years.
Oh yeah, it's been there for 30 years.
Okay.
And now everybody's up in arms about it, sitting there trying to go, well, that communist state of California is just, and it's like,
Well, that's the one guy that did the video kind of went crazy.
Oh yeah, and quite honestly, even his video after that, it was like 2 weeks after that or a week after that, he posted another video and goes, hey, listen guys, I'm doing this. I make a lot of jokes. I make a lot of off-color jokes and comments, and you can't really take me serious on this type of thing. And at the same time, I'm sitting here going, well, you're just putting gasoline onto the fire, and and you're blowing it way out of proportion yourself. You should never have posted that video. Quite honestly, he should just take it down. And I really wish he would just man up and just do it. But oh well. Anyways, yeah, ethically responsibility as a blogger, Vinny. Exactly. He's got, especially in the ham radio world, we've got a little bit of an ethical thing here where we need to act professional, and that's what really is bothering me, is almost all these comments are just so so nasty. They're even blaming the ARRL, and in reality, ARRL has nothing to do with this. This is a local Aries group that needs to, first off, needs to foster and maintain that relationship with their government agency. And if they're not going to do that, then they need to accept the fact that, okay, we can no longer have our ham radio equipment up here, or we have to pay for it. And I looked their website up, and quite honestly, their website looks like a 2-year-old, designed it. I mean, there's no information on it whatsoever. You can't figure out where to go for anything, and it just looks so awful. And then you look them up, and on the ARRL, they posted something about that club, helping out the Red Cross during the California fires. And it looks to me like they do a lot of stuff with the Red Cross, the local Red Cross. So they've got probably a memo of understanding with the Red Cross. So my question is why don't they just simply turn around to the Red Cross and say, hey, listen, we've got this situation. Could you guys help us with a little bit of payment for the repeater up there? And then turn around and ask all of its members and say, hey, listen, we need to keep this going, so we need to generate a repeater fund to keep this going. Or let's sit down with CalFire and draft up a MOU and start working with them, start showing our benefit, and maybe they will go right ahead and say, okay, now that you've shown us a little bit of benefit, we'll go right ahead and let you keep it for free. We're a professional hobby. We have license, we have national organization body, journals, and we need to act that part. And I agree. That's what has really got me torqued up. And there's a lot of people who have no clue as to what the ARRL does and what Aries does, because there was a lot of people sitting there, criticizing the ARRL at a national level, when in reality this isn't a national level issue. This is a very localized one group with one agency issue. Mm-hmm. And quite honestly, that group needs to simply go, let's do this. If we can't come with an agreement with CalFire, we'll go right ahead and pull that equipment out, and we'll find another location for it, and just act responsible for it. And that's what's really got me torqued up. And when we've had a couple people that I've had to kind of basically squelch on Facebook, that have been posting some articles that, quite honestly, were just one-sided. They were so biased. And if you read the rest of their news, it is so one-biased, so biased. Anyways, so it's just inflaming the whole entire thing. And we just need to basically all agree, hey, listen, let's act professional. Let's stop finger pointing, and let's let them deal with it, because this is their issue. This isn't our issue. This isn't ham radio issue. It's not the state of California saying no to ham radio, and I don't understand it. Yeah, exactly, Glenn. The common sense, it's rare anymore. Common sense is no longer common. It's uncommon. Matter of fact, it's called rare sense. And it's just, you see some of these postings, and I'm just sitting there going, why would FEMA want to have us involved in emergency communications if we're going to act childish, throw temper tantrums, and act like a 2-year-old who's being told, no, you can't have a chocolate bar in a grocery store? If I was a government agency and I saw that, I would probably be calling up my local Aries guys going, hey, listen, you know what? Hey, if this is the way ham radio is going to be, we have no need for you guys. Right. And just basically say, yep, you guys can go do whatever you want to do, but you're no longer involved in any of our government agencies, and no longer involved in any of our, our big boy discussions,
Well, like I say, it was a tempest in a teapot, because I read a few articles after that, and should have been dropped right then, and you should have quit posting.
Oh yeah.
'Cause it was...
And quite honestly, the funny thing is, the lawyer wrote a letter to the person who originally wrote the letter, and it was all nice and professional. Then it was like 2 or 3 days later, he writes another letter to them because he hasn't got a response. Okay, and he writes it, and he's got a lot of things inside there that are all capitalized. Now, anybody who writes any sort of documentation knows that when you put things in all capital letters, you're yelling and screaming at the person.
Yeah.
So how good is what good is that doing now? So it's just like, oh my gosh, we got a lawyer that's acting childish, and we got a whole bunch of hams that are acting childish and throwing temper tantrums, and it's just like, oh my gosh, you guys are just going to ruin the whole entire thing. We've got to act professional, and that's really what it boils down to. That's what ham radio should be. We are amateur. However, when we come to an emergency situation, that's very serious business, and we need to act professionally. And that means when we go in with an agreement to, say, the Red Cross, or the Red Cross, or a local church, or because a lot of local churches have us. Not just the Mormons. There's a couple Lutheran churches around here that have ham radio groups. The hospitals have ham radio groups in them now. There's a lot of benefit that we do push out there, but when we start acting childish and throwing temper tantrums and starting to play the blame game all across the board, it undermines that whole entire professionalism.
Yeah.
And it makes us look silly. We already are looking silly anyways when we have people who grab their yellow vest and their HT and run down to an emergency scene without actually being invited or informed that they're welcomed in the first place. Okay, which is the reason why a lot of Aries groups have now started to basically post this information saying, do not self-deploy. You wait until we activate and we tell you where to go. And if you don't do that, you will be removed from our group permanently. So there's already that issue right there. And to add more gas to the fire, here we go. We're playing the blame game again. And it's so sad. And so I'm urging the club and all of its members and anybody who's watching this video, let's remain civil, professional, and let's stop pushing out fake news and false information until you get the full facts. And I think the ARRL posted something, and I thought it was spot on. It was like, hey, listen, we haven't heard of any issues. There doesn't seem to be any issues, and all the information that we're getting directly from California states that ham radio is still involved. So don't panic, relax, and I think that is a perfect statement right there. And I kind of wish everybody would, take heed.
Right.
So
it's gonna blow over pretty soon.
Oh, it will. It will. But we don't do too much with emergency communications in our group. We rarely talk about it. But at the same time, it's one of those things where if our local government did call us up and say, hey, listen, we needed some ham radio operators to assist us, yes, we will help. No doubt about it. We will go down there and we will help out. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to it. If a local church asks us for assistance, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to it, all right? So I appreciate all those that have really kind of stayed in the background and not really said much, or all those that have actually come out and said, no, we definitely need to act professional. I appreciate all of you for doing that, because that's just going to make everything even worse. So that was it. So rant over. And I think it was kind of fitting. Was there anything else that anybody else wanted to talk about? And Glenn, yeah, exactly. Walter Cronkite, oh man, such a great journalist right there. I really actually miss listening to his news broadcasts. But yeah, he did say amateur radio operators in any other realm would be called professionals. we step up when there is a need, if there is a need. Take example that 7.2 earthquake out in California not too long ago.
Yeah.
The Aries group actually showed up, and the emergency communicators or coordinators out there did put them on standby. And then about an hour later, they decided, nope, we're pretty good. We've got internet, we've got cell phone coverage, we've got all of our equipment is operating pretty good. Go ahead and stand down. And they communicated that with their entire group, and they did it professionally. And they didn't blow up, they didn't cry. However, in other forums, and I'm not going to name the one forum that I'm specifically talking about. We had quite a few hams who were automatically just jumping on there. Hey, does anybody know the emergency frequencies that those hams are using out there? And it's like, first off, you weren't asked to help out. Nobody's called you up. And if any of that information was necessary, the ARRL and the Aries group would be publishing that. And I really wish people would just stop asking that type of a question. Again, goes back to acting professional. There's nothing wrong with asking, but at the same time, that's what I'm talking about. We need to wait until we are asked to do something. Yeah. And when that happens, I'm sure that these forums are going to announce. We do it here. Anytime I get word through our Arizona emergency coordinator here, Dennis Beatry. I believe he's still the emergency coordinator. Virgil might know. If Virgil's on, he might know exactly who it is. I think it is still Dennis Beatry. But Dennis Beatry's been fairly decent about publishing, okay, everybody stay away from this frequency because there was a large earthquake, say, in Mexico, and they're going to be using the HF equipment or something like that. Here's the frequencies to stay away from or monitor. National Hurricane Center is another one. When they activate, we publish that information on our Facebook site. And, I guess I could do a little bit better job and post it on our website as well. But we post that information and we just ask people, hey, listen, if you're going to be on that frequency, listen and listen only unless you can handle that emergency traffic. If you can't handle it, if you're not able to, provide that assistance, then hold off until see if somebody else can handle it. So it's one of those things where you just have to understand going back to ethics, but also professionalism as well as, being a gentleman. If there's an emergency going on, either stay away from those frequencies or just monitor, and if you're that type of a person that you have to have that microphone in your hand with the push to talk, disconnect it from the radio. All right.
Or have somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Let them ramble on.
Yep. So, enough said. I think I beat that one into a pulp. So, anyways, that's just something that I wanted to put out there. So, I appreciate everyone for what they do. Oh, okay. So, all right, excellent, Vinny. Thank you for giving me that information. The delay is much better. All right, good. Yeah, because I was trying to. At first, I thought that the only setting that we could do was the standard setting, and I was doing a lot more reading lately, and I realized, there is a very shorter delay. So, appreciate that. And it sounds like the audio was pretty good and everything. I know I'm a big talker, so I ramble on a lot. I hope I wasn't rambling too much tonight. I like to try to keep these videos shorter than longer, but I think the length is about right. We could probably shorten it up a little bit. Of course, my rambling on, we could have probably ended 15 minutes ago.
Nobody signed off while you were doing it.
Well, yeah, true. Okay. True. So I'm like, that's a good sign.
They may be asleep. I don't know.
Well, yeah, true. and yeah, Vinny, it did need to be said. And it's just something that just was bothering me the entire probably the last 2 weeks, man. It was people just up and down, and it just made me so sad to be in part of a hobby that we were acting that way, you know. And it's just I wouldn't be too surprised if there's going to be a lot of agencies who are looking at this, or a lot of Aries groups sitting there dropping members because of this. So, um, you know, if you can and you want to volunteer, the Aries group, that's it's not really even an Aries group. If you want to volunteer here in the Maricopa County area, including the Pinal County, um, and even Gila County and possibly Coconino County and Yavapai. Yavapai's got a great emergency communications club up there. They even have a bus and everything. Um, but the one down here in the Phoenix Valley area is the Maricopa County Emergency Communications Group, MCECG. And I'm going to tell you something right now. They are very professional. I really like working with them. Um, they do a lot of good public service events. And if you really want to get to know how to use your radio, how to do emergency communications, how to, be a part of a net. Oh, my lights went off. Oh no. I think, Dennis, you probably clicked something. That's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll
snagged a line.
Snagged a line. Yeah, part of the issue. You can still see us.
In the dark.
Well, I'm always in the dark, so. Anyways, the MCECG is the group to go for. Okay, so just look up MCECG here in the Maricopa County area, and I'm going to tell you something right now. They're a great group of guys, hands down. They are a group of guys that honestly I would trust in an emergency. They do everything professionally. They've got quite a few nets that they do. Throughout I think it's on Monday nights at like 8 or 9 or something like that on the Metro Link. Tune in. They allow anybody and everybody to get in there. So please do so. Feel free. If you want to tell them that, hey, listen, the Mesa Amateur Radio Club sent me, or Orion Kilo Echo 7 Victor Lima Charlie sent me, drop them a line. They're going to know exactly who in the world I am. They know who I am. Matter of fact, I get called up quite a few times. Hey, listen, we're short a person this weekend on this event. Are you capable of helping out? They know that I'm a trustworthy guy. They send me out into the back country is where they usually send me. Almost every single event, they put me out in the worst boondock that possible, because they know that I'm going to be professional and I've got the head on my shoulder to control anything that needs to come up. So, and I'm not trying to gloat or anything of that nature. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or, railroad term right there. Hint, hint. Anyways, I really like them. So please feel free to take a look at them. Yeah, exactly. If you can't follow orders, you'll never make a good leader, and that's exactly right. So, so I guess for that we're gonna sign off tonight, due to lighting issues in the studio here.
We hope we can leave this room without tripping over more wires.
Well, we got a low light that's actually coming over here. I'll just put this up on our table or whatever to see. Anyways, I'm going to say 73 to everyone. I hope you guys all have a good night. Don't forget to come back to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Facebook. And obviously go to our website, wm7rc.org. On our YouTube, give a thumbs up if you like the video. And obviously subscribe, and there should be a little bell in there somewhere, and I can't remember where it's at because it's been a while since I've actually subscribed to somebody's channel on YouTube. It actually provides you with an alert anytime we go live. And honestly, put some comments in here. If there's a topic that you would like for us to do, please post that. Because I need more topics. I get tired of talking about repeaters all the time. So please post. All right. 73 to everyone. Hope you guys all have a good evening. This is Kilo Echo 7, Victor Lima Charlie, saying 73. Good evening.